Thank you. Thank you. It's so fun. Thank you. You probably know so much about my life. What did I do to myself? These guys saw me shaving. They saw me getting married. They saw me with hair. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Before I will forget, for me, she is the real star of the movie. Honestly, she's brave. Come here. And I'm a lucky man.
זה זמן לשיר, זמן לחיות, לצוח מול כל העולם, עכשיו אני כאן. ללכת בשדרות, להיות גאה, לנער אבק ישן בגוף, ולתת הכל. אל תעצרו את הזמן הזה, אני רוצה מהפכות בלב, אפיל מגדל באור היום, ויהיה גיבור של יום חלום. יום חלום של יום חלום. זה זמן לשיר, זמן לחיות, לצוח מול כל העולם, עכשיו אני כאן. ללכת לאיבוד, להיות גאה, לנער אבק ישן בגוף, ולתת הכל. אל תעצרו את הזמן הזה, אני רוצה מהפכות בלב, אפיל מגדל באור היום, ויהיה גיבור של יום חלום. יום חלום של יום חלום. זה זמן לשיר, זמן לחיות, לצוח מול כל העולם, עכשיו אני כאן. ללכת בשדרות, להיות גאה, לנער אבק ישן בגוף, ולתת הכל.
Thank you very much for coming. It's really, really exciting. Laura Bialias. Thank you for David Broza that will come soon.
I'm very excited, and yes, you all recognize Avi Vaknin and director of the film Laura Bialias, and please welcome our friend who was here actually exactly a year ago. Saturday night he premiered his film East Jerusalem, West Jerusalem on the same stage, and we're really glad that he's come back to help us with this Q&A, Mr. David Broza.
Now this? Good? Ah. Easy. Wow, thank you. Thank you. So I've got to come out of this film in a minute for the back to reality. And to be able to focus and help you conduct a Q&A. And I'm really moved. You know, I've been to Sderot so many times under fire. Oh boy. And I've always come to it when it's in that terrible stress, and to play music and meeting with the locals. In the past few years, it's gotten so difficult. And the last time I was there, in 2014, spent 50 days down there, and the city was almost empty. But there was the best hummus probably in Israel.
Yeah, there's a great hummus there.
And that kept us
Hummus
happy.
trina.
Hummus trina. That's right.
It's pretty new.
It's new, and it was always full. There's only 6 or 8 tables, and it's always full because that's who's left in town. Anyway, it's amazing. It's very inspiring. And it's true that most of the great rock music, original rock, which actually Sfatayim is a blend of all that, for years was coming out of Sderot. And I think very few other, like Kiryat Yam and places where Poliker came from the north, from the Kayot, north of Israel. Very few other cities resemble the sound that Sderot has managed to bring to Israel, and through all that incredible mush of culture and the necessity to explode from inside out. So, I mean, thank you. I was searching to figure out, and I just didn't realize tonight I realized how much of his music
I have an answer for that.
Huh?
You should search in Hebrew. That's why in English
I
there's
got some guy
in Miami
startup
that's
guy from
make problem for me.
If you go Avi Vaknin, you'll get a startup guy from Miami. Don't even bother. Go straight to YouTube. Anyway, Laura, amazing.
Thank you.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. I felt like it's just the people, you know, like it's not. The fact that I ended up in the movie was like a disaster for me. It was very difficult to. I mean, not that. I mean, I got this great life out of it, but this is my 4th feature documentary, and none of I was never intended to be in any of them. So that's why it took me 8 years to figure out how to make it.
Never trust director. They always do everything to do in happy end. That's what he's trying to do. Sometimes.
But no, I was just like, you know, I had amazing subjects and an amazing subject, and that was incredibly inspiring. So,
well, the way you brought it all together, it seemed to me like you had a beginning of a story that was just very vague, and it got more clearer and clearer and clearer, and then you got married.
You get in trouble.
I don't think so.
I went down there, and I was there for like 3 weeks initially, and I was filming all these people, and I was fascinated by their music and who they were, and having them tell me what their lives were like. And then I went back to LA, and I was like, this is great. These people are amazing. The music's amazing. This place is amazing. I don't have a story. So I have to come back and like follow the people. Avi did not want to be in the movie. He did not
Still
want to
don't.
be in the
It's too late.
One thing that struck me, I want to ask you about this. I can ask Avi and both of you. In spite of everything, of all the hardship and the horror and the terror, I don't feel that I feel that the people of Sderot never turned their anger on Gaza. And it's so noble. And I don't know if it's something that you especially try to edit out, or is this really, because of the way you speak and your friends speak, there's always empathy and there's always a question. Are we the only ones suffering, or are they also suffering? There's something there. And then there's, of course, the political aspect. I never get the feeling that the people are taking it out on the other.
I did not. That was a feeling. I mean, you occasionally hear, you know, nonsense from young teenagers and stuff that are saying bad things. But usually, that was my first reaction. Was like the people felt abandoned a little bit. They felt like nobody really gets us in this country, and they were more feeling kind of left to the side by the rest of Israel than. That was where the anger was directed mostly at, and I think less at Gaza. Maybe they realized that, you know, the people in Gaza are also victims.
Oh, we are part of Israel, you know. we don't have problem with Gaza. That's very important. If we have problems, in that time we were very angry on Israel government, I think. But in the same time, they do some stuff that help us. And we cannot like ignore that. They build in any house. They put 100,000 shekel budget, and they
100
build,
billion, no.
yeah, but
a half
it
a
costs
billion
100,000
shekel.
shekel per one.
Oh, right.
They build in any house a bomb shelter. Yeah, that's the right word. You know, that's something. And they build in Henry, in every 200 meter, they build also they put bomb shelter. I mean, it's not alive, and I was angry for years. But at the same time, you can ignore that. You know.
But when I first got there, there wasn't those bomb shelters. And so I was filming people that were really feeling, you know, for a few years, like, what the hell are we going to do here? And then finally, the government did.
It was a different
take
time,
these
we have
steps,
to say.
yeah.
In 2007, 2008, we really felt alone. We had like 30 rockets a day. Nobody give a damn, if I can say. But then when it's grow, as you can see pretty clear in the movie, people start to understand the problem belongs to all Israel. So,
I just want to congratulate you that you really managed to focus on the music and the importance of music as a way of surviving the situation for the young and for the older, and putting so much emphasis on that and staying away from the rest because you don't have answers. And this film really focused in a beautiful, very magical way. So I congratulate you because it's very difficult.
I just want to say one thing because it's connected to what you talked. We had a screening in Sderot with 400 people, you know, and I still, when I get in sometimes to see the movie, it's so hard for me. And people will get out almost, it's like so traumatized. My parents and my family and their kids and my nephew that's like have a rocket on his friends. And the main sentence is that only a stranger, if I call you for a second, with cold eyes, with eyes from outside can shoot so many years, for 8 years, and survive that because that's traumatized, the shooting that you have there. For us, for me.
No question, and there's no doubt. So it's even more of an incredible achievement from your side. Although I think you were drawn right into you're now, and you now live a post-trauma because you're in the States and you're far away from it. But any questions, anybody? Maybe it's time. Yeah. Easy.
Thank you for bringing that story to us. Could you talk about some of the challenges that you had in making the film from the first time you went there? Maybe you shot with how many cameras, and then the second time you went there?
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't logistically challenging. I mean, we didn't have to get permits or anything, or we didn't have to. And we showed up with 2 cameras. The people were really open and amazing to us, and just received us into their homes, and there was always like this huge spread of food for us, and there was a lot of gratitude that we were there to tell this story. The biggest challenge I had was that we picked out, me and my co-producer who went with me, we heard his music, we saw him working with the kids, and we're like, this guy, this is like, here's our story. And he was like, no, thank you, I don't want to have anything to do with this. So that was the funniest part, was that it was really challenging to convince him. He thought that we were going to come, and I think, in a way, there was a lot of conversations we had about the sort of stereotyping that probably it's difficult for an American audience. In Israel, a lot of the sort of Tel Aviv audience said to me, oh, I had no idea that's what Sderot was like, because there's sort of, it's a development town, and it has like a certain stigma to it. But because I was coming there with kind of these virgin eyes, I had no idea where I was going. I just thought it was this town. I didn't know what a development town was. I didn't know any stereotype or anything associated. So I just saw it very cleanly, and I just saw wonderful, warm people and amazing talent.
It's better than Santa Barbara, I can tell you that.
I'm from Santa Barbara, and he once went, he said,
if I will bring 2 cameras there, somebody will shoot me or call to the police. If I would just do that, and people took her to eat something.
So it wasn't that challenging.
If we were sitting here a generation from now, and you guys are about to have your second child,
Bezrat Hashem.
congratulations.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you. We're not going to make another movie for that.
So if we're sitting here a generation from now, and you guys are looking back, what kind of an Israel do you think your children will grow up in, given, since the end of your film, all the things that have happened between the United States and Israel, the stabbings in Jerusalem, the end of the map you were showing how the rocket zone it now basically extends over all of Israel.
Okay, this is what I have to say before you jump in
I'm
here.
not
I
gonna say a
I want to
thing.
say something. When at the end of my film, there is this scene that I specifically put at the end of the film, which is that this bomb goes off. This bomb lands right near the cafe that we're sitting in, and all the journalists run out to film it, and then Avi continues to order his salmon or pasta or whatever. So for me, as an American who became Israeli and who went to live there and who discovered what Israel is all about, for me, this is a symbol of what the whole country is. It's people who just, I mean, the positive part of this country is that no matter what, people just have this, we're going to survive, we're going to keep living our lives. And the situation of the danger or whatever is going on, or the politics or the relationships or whatever, keep changing. But, you know, things were, you could say things were bad, I don't know when, 30 years before I got there. So I feel like this Israeli resilience and this sort of will to keep going and to keep creating and to keep doing high tech or music or, is still there. And I hope that that is what takes over. But I think it will still continue. That's what I think.
Of course it will.
You don't want me to answer you that. I think we saw the other version. We've been in other places and didn't work so much. There's people like my parents that have no place. They don't have other place to be. For the Palestinian too, I believe. We don't have other place to be. Only Israel, for both of us. We have to believe in living together. There's no other option, or war or peace, but living together.
Since 2007, 2008, when you first got there, has the government done more to try and create economic development in Sderot? And also, do you hope in some way that your movie will try and help create more economic development in Sderot?
Are you talking to me?
They built you know what one of the amazing developments is for a periphery city is that there is now a train going from Tel Aviv to Sderot that takes 1 hour. So just imagine it's like commuting to Westchester or something. In Israel there's like a different philosophy about commuting, but still it makes it sort of more accessible. And I don't know what the government is doing in terms of that's a good question. Business development.
I wouldn't say the government doing too much, but there was a moment that they were trying to save life, and I think that's, if to be honest, the main difference. They got money too. They invested in tunnels. It's a fact, and the government invests in protecting life. I think we're both victim of unsolved situation, obviously. But sometimes I really believe that sometimes I feel like we are two different people. There is Sephardic and Ashkenazi. And sometimes I really believe, like now, that we are totally one arm. And the fact that you came to see, it's proving that basically it's just, in the end, it's one arm. And people really, there was a lot of stage that a lot of people help Sderot people. That's what I say. Thank you for that.
Somehow you just spoke about that. My question would have been initially, what was the impact of the train station and the transportation from Tel Aviv back and forth that I guess started in 2013 or so? maybe 2012?
I need to research all the answers to these questions.
I don't think
but
there is a difference. What's
You
the
don't?
impact? People had car before that, and they drove to Tel Aviv.
But they're also they're building like a little mall right there. There's stuff happening. It
But
is
it's not connected to the government. People creating that from since the 60s, since the 50s, the first day that. That's why for me, my parents and people from Sderot are totally Zionism. They build a place for themselves. Sometimes it's with help with the government. Most of the time it's with not, to be honest.
I mean, that was one of the amazing things that I found was there was like a lot of pride of place, you know? I mean, I came from LA. I was living in LA for 12 years, and I didn't have I wasn't like rah rah LA, you know? Like, I went there and I felt like it was like there was like a team spirit song. I mean, a lot of those kids, we didn't really feature in the film, but there were like songs about how much they loved Sderot. These teenagers were singing. And I remember in the first interview I did with Avi, he said, how can you love something that is kicking you in the head every day, basically? But there is a lot of pride of place, and I feel like it is because the whole history of the place and how they kind of were dropped there in the desert and had to kind of make heads or tails of it. And I feel like there's like a common kind of defiant, we're going to keep doing things anyway, theme that is running through that, even now.
I think the really pressing question that I had was, were you already together when you became roommates? Or was that like a roommates falling in love kind of thing?
You know what? We are so close. Like I say, you saw me shaving, married. Let me tell you something, almost personally, okay? I didn't believe in love. I still almost doesn't believe in love, except her. Honestly, so she was with a non-Jewish, we can say that, with a guy for 10 years, okay?
It's not very
She was
PC.
with somebody for 10 years. We move in as totally pure roommate. I remember me telling to my friend, you have to stay roommate, to myself. And then her boyfriend, her whole boyfriend, the goy guy, yeah, Shalom Eda, he came to Sderot to save, and I was very, very decent. I told her to try to protect her relationship and do something for it. And it was Friday night. I saw him together, and I go to my parents to eat Friday dinner. And I saw them and don't understand why they don't eat in Friday night. I took them both. Think about my Moroccan parents. And the first time they saw her, she came with her boyfriend, and he ate fish, spicy fish, and it was red. And that's the first time my parents ever saw her. You understand how much I didn't believe in that, but it still happened.
But I was like, oh my God, this guy doesn't want to be in the movie, and I finally roped him into like getting into this house with me. So now I can film him in his pajamas. I could film him shaving. I was like, this is great material, I was like, this is...
No, but for your question, we were clean at least 1 week or something. I think so. It was something like this.
We have one more question up here.
They've been fine. Why you give him 3? Come on.
What's the music scene now in Sderot?
I think the music scene generally in the world changed. There is more DJs than singer-songwriter. This is my feeling. Robbie, I was working in this underground bomb shelter for 10 years, and my best friend Robbie worked there another 4 years. So now it's kind of like this. It's not, I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's kind of okay. But we always come back to Sderot every 1 week, and there's people from, there's a musician for the famous, successful band that's coming. It exists. It's just, I wouldn't say on big fire, just something on small fire, in my opinion.
I almost hesitate to say this, to make a comment on this. It was a beautiful, wonderful film, and through the film I was thinking I would go home and tell all my friends they must see this. It's a wonderful movie. I'm on 29th Street. I have this fabulous store called Ame Ame. Some people think it means love. Some people think it means my nation in Israeli, I guess in Hebrew. I think a lot about peace. I have to deal with coexistence there. And, it's hard. I had to leave my store from the East Village I feel like in New York, we're being pushed out, many of the people. Language is so powerful, and you said, you talk about her non-Jewish boyfriend, language is so powerful. Like, I've had a young Orthodox little boy, I was having dinner with him, asked me, is my father a Goya? And it felt so discriminating in a way against me, because I'm not Jewish. But I have an Ashkenazi Jewish name, Soroka. My grandparents fought for the Polish Underground Resistance Army against the Nazis. And I had a boyfriend, a Rothschild, say, the Poles are worse to the Jews than the Germans. And I'm like, what? Like, there's a lot of races in this country as well, in our language and our thoughts or whatever. I just leave that.
No,
language is powerful, or those things. I don't know. I leave people to think about those things. It was a beautiful.
Just
film.
joking about the Jewish. It's okay that you are not Jewish.
It's funny, but it gets joked about a lot, I think. But our little words, our thoughts, those things push forward. Other people don't hear it, the teenagers and whatnot.
Thank you.
Wonderful film. I wanted to ask you, Avi, have you ever, as a musician, played with any Palestinian musicians? There is a group called Al Kamanjati. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No, I actually never play, but I was in a something that's called Gaza Sderot, and they have artists from Sderot and artists from Gaza. But I actually never play with some. David Broza is very professional in that. He run all the country with Palestinian musicians. I would love to play.
Well, we'll make it happen.
Hi. Over here. I just wanted to personally thank you for making such an amazing film. In 2014, over the summer, I'm getting emotional. I volunteered in bomb shelters during Tzuk there was a need, obviously, because all these families and young kids were spending their whole summer during Tzuk I forget the name in English for that war. They spent the whole summer in bomb shelters, and there was a need to somehow occupy them because they couldn't go anywhere or do anything. 15 seconds to a safe area. And I would hear from friends here. I'm obviously Israeli, but I live here. And I would hear from friends that live here on the Upper West Side, all over the States, how even American Jewry was not accepting what was going on. And I feel that this specific movie shows a totally different side and explains better of the very the conflict and how both sides are really suffering from it. And I just think that you did a terrific job, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I make a plug for joining our Facebook page, and also for, please, if you liked the film, tell your friends. There's another screening at this festival at Cinema Village on Monday night. And then on Thursday, we're opening for a 1-week run there. It's going to be screening like 5 times a day, and we're going to be there for many of the screenings. So please help us get out the troops to come and make it a success. It's just, if you just look up Rock in the Red Zone on Facebook, it's there.
Thank you for coming very much. Yeah. I want to thank you
and
personally.
And thank you to David for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you to David Broza. You don't understand who is David Broza for me. Thank you very much.
Avi's CD is available outside, and you should definitely check that out. And please do tell your friends. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for a wonderful film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.